Hi guys, Little Miss Bun Crazy here. Sorry about the noise in the background, it's the washing machine going. Anyways, today I'm going to show you, or tell you, what you need when bringing home a rabbit. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have all your rabbit supplies ready. And if you don't know what you need for a rabbit, I have a video on that and I'll link it down below in the description box. The next thing you're going to want to have is the cage all set up. And if you don't know how to set up a cage or want an idea, I also have a video on that I'll link down below of how to set up a rabbit cage, or an example of how I set up Cadbury's cage. So when bringing home your rabbit, when you're planning on leaving, you're going to want to use a cat carrier or a dog crate or carrier, and you're going to want to line it, put puppy pad down just in case they pee, and probably some old blankets or blankets that you're going to plan on using for them. Cadbury decides he wants to move his box. I don't know if you guys can see that, that's so cute. But anyways, you're going to want to have a blanket, you want to put a puppy pad down and then a blanket, and also you're going to want to bring a water bottle or some kind of food. If you don't want it in a water dish, there are water bottles that you can buy fairly cheap that you hook up on the side of the cage. I can go show you one, I just have to go and grab it. So I'll show you that later, but you're going to want to bring that. And also, once you get to the place where you're getting your rabbit from, the person you're getting your rabbit from, ask them if they can give you at least a week's supply of rabbit pellets that they were feeding the rabbit. Also, if they were feeding the rabbit hay, ask if you could have a little bit of the hay, just about a week's supply, or just like a handful, so you can introduce the rabbit into the food and hay that you're going to be feeding them. If they're not feeding them any hay right now, that's no big deal. For the rabbit pellets, just ask them the reason why you'd want at least a week's supply of rabbit pellets is because you want to introduce them transition them from the old rabbit pellets into your new rabbit pellets that you're going to be feeding them, unless of course it's the same brand as you're feeding the farm, or as you're feeding the breeder, or wherever you're getting the rabbit from, the shelter, as they're feeding their rabbit now, then that's fine, you don't need to get any more. But if they're not, then you're going to want that. And what you're going to want to do for the pellets is you want to start off probably the first day, give them the same thing they're used to. Just when you bring them home, give them the same thing that they're used to, just so it doesn't upset their stomach quite as much, and make sure that they'll be more comfortable in a new surrounding if they have something familiar like their food. So the next day you can do, after you've had them for at least 24 hours, the next day you can try 75% old and 25% new, and if that works well, then you can switch them to 50% new, like 50-50, so have half old, half new, and then the next day, as long as they're not getting diarrhea or stomach upset, then you can do 25% old and 75% new, and if everything's still going well, then you can just keep them on the new. But if they have diarrhea for the first day, that's okay, because when I feed my rabbit veggies, he tends to get diarrhea for the first little bit, and then the second, after it's out of his system, he's fine. The second day, he doesn't have any more diarrhea. So there might be a little bit, so don't be surprised when you're transitioning. If it continues, if it persists the second day, then cut back down on the amount of new pellets you're feeding them, and just slowly, gradually introduce them to the new stuff. And also, once you bring them home, what you're going to want to do is open the crate or the carrier, set it down, and let the rabbit hop out. Don't try to pull the rabbit out, let it come out when it's ready, and once it's out of the carrier, take it out of the cage and leave the rabbit alone for at least 24 hours. Don't go in there, don't touch it, don't do anything with it. Just leave them in there for at least 24 hours. For the 24 hours, you can then start to interact with them. You can start going in them with their cage, start trying to not pet them, but just start being able to interact with them, like sit down in their cage, bring a book, your laptop, and just kind of sit with them for a little bit. If your cage is big enough that you can sit in there, then I recommend doing that. Or if you have an X pen or an area that you can just put the rabbit in, and you sit in there with them, just try to get them used to you and you used to them. Okay, for a traveling cage, you take your rabbit to and from where you're getting them from. This is probably like a good size. You want them to be able to hop around and lay down, but not be like running around like crazy. You know, you don't want them too big. This is just for traveling and stuff. Like, it would be a good size for a giant rabbit. Baby bunny, it might be a little bit more room than they need, just for getting them to wherever you're picking them up and bringing them home, kind of thing. And then this is the water bottle I was talking about, that hooks up on the side of the cage like this. You know, like I was saying, that's probably a good size for like bringing home your rabbit to and from, depending on how far you're going. One thing I want to say, when you have them in the carrier, make sure that they can hop around a little bit. Don't have it so that they can't move, but don't have it so it's like humongous that they can just, you know, like run back and forth. Make sure that they can at least lay down in the carrier. I would suggest that that's probably an okay size. Like, if you're just going for, you know, half an hour to an hour drive, because, you know, you don't want them in there for a massive amount of time. But if you're going for a much longer drive, then I suggest getting a bigger cage so that they can kind of like hop around. And I don't suggest you have them just sitting in your car, because in case anything ever happened to you, if you got in a car accident or something, it's better to have them in a carrier where they're safe and contained, and they'll probably feel less threatened and less frightening. You can like look at them, but don't be like poking your fingers in the carrier at them, being like, oh hi, or trying to pick them up. Just let them, you know, kind of sit in the carrier. When they get home, like I said, open the door, put them in their new cage, and just let them explore. Once they're out of the carrier, take it out and let them run around, explore, you know. Food, give them fresh water, you know, like, and just leave them alone for 24 hours. Let them get used to their new environment, and then you can kind of introduce yourself to them. I'm just going to show you how you would, you know, kind of approach your rabbit. Like, hi, Bubs. Hi. Hi. You know, like, he saw me, he's like, oh, scary, ran back in. You know, just sit here, just relax, you know, read a book. Hi. And if they come out and see you, you know, you can, like, say hi to them, but, like, if they, you know, just let them kind of get used to being in here. And if they want to hop on you, let them hop on you, but don't try to touch them for the first little bit. You know, like, even if they seem like, oh, I want you to pet me, and you, like, don't go swift, like, don't go fast, don't be like, oh, hi, like, you know, so, like, it'd be easier if you were out here, huh? And I could show them, because they can't see you, because he's, like, poking his head in and out of the box right now. But just, like, sit in here with them, you know, read a book, you know, be on your laptop, you know, in their cage, or, like, if you have an X-Pen, and if you have an X-Pen, then just put them in the X-Pen and let them, you know, kind of hop around and get them exploring, but also get them used to you. Just you being here with them kind of helps, because then they get used to you. You know, just, and if they come and interact with you, that's fine. If not, that's fine too. Hi, Bubs. Are you gonna come say hi? You can come say hi. So, like, slowly reach out and pet them. Don't, like, immediately go and try to grab them, because they won't like that. They won't like being grabbed. You know, don't be like, boom, and then, because they might run away. You know, just slowly, like, creep up to them, and they let you pet them. You know, you can pet them, but if they're not comfortable with it, they will let you know, you're so far away, Bubs. Yeah. So, let me show you guys. Like, if they come up and sniff you, let them sniff you. But see, I know him, so he's okay with me doing that, but normally I wouldn't suggest, when you first get your rabbit, to like, go and touch them. Let them come to you, let them sniff you, like I've been saying, in the book and laptop in here. You know, it's going to take a little while, honey, for them to, you know, kind of get used to you and used to their surroundings and used to your smells and stuff. Is that good hay? Is it good? You need some hay, baby? Hi. So, like, if they do seem interested in you, just sit there, you know, like I've been saying. Hi. Like, just let them smell you, sniff you. If they hop on you, that's fine. But, like, don't try to grab them, to see they run away. And don't try to pick them up, you know, when they first get them, because rabbits don't really like to be picked up. So, the less handling, at least in the first little bit, the less handling is probably better. Probably going to enjoy you more if you just sit there. And, you can feed them. Feed them treats. Try to see if they get some pellets out of your hand or some hay. And when you get them, how long do you have to introduce hay? At least before you want to introduce veggies, they need to be on hay for at least 2 weeks before you introduce veg into their diet. So right now, just have them on their pellets. You can introduce them to some hay. I got him from a farmer or a breeder, but he was a farmer. We got him and my other rabbit. Before we got him, we had another rabbit just like him. He was a Rex also. The person that gave you, if they're already feeding the rabbit hay, then that's fine. Make sure they're on hay for at least 2 weeks before you introduce veggies and fruits and stuff. So just feed them their pellets. See if they do your hand of the pellets, or some of the hay. Just offer them the hay in their cage as well. Just kind of get them introduced to the hay. So after they're on the hay for 2 weeks, then you can introduce new food like every 3 days. And probably the first day they'll have a little bit of diarrhea. He does want to introduce him to new veggies. He tends to get diarrhea just until it's out of his system, and then the next day he's totally fine. And then the third day, I usually just give it to him consistently. After the third day, if there's no stomach upset or anything, then I just continue to feed it to him. But I recommend at least 3 days introducing new food to your rabbit. So yeah, this is kind of how you also help bonding with your rabbit. Just petting them. Having them run around you, play with them. Literally, I think the only reason he is so close to me, he lets me pet him, is because honestly it's really easy. You pick them up, carry them into your room if they're not already in your room, and you have them sit on your lap while you're watching a movie. You're not ignoring them. Just pet them. When they're my pet, let them explore your lap. Just sit there. It's bonding, it's not a whole lot you have to do on your part, and you get to spend some time. He's done being pet. He's been wanting to grab it. Honey, he literally loves to just sit in my room, for 20 minutes, half an hour. If they start digging at you, it might mean they have to go pee or they're hungry. So then take them downstairs if they're peeing on you or something, and you have a litter box in there. But it's not hard to get to bond with your rabbit, and then while they're sitting there, feed them some pellets. If they're on veggies, feed them some veggies. It'll increase your bond, because most rabbits' hearts are through their stomach. They love to eat, don't you? Yes, they love eating. So I just recommend doing that. And having floor time with them. Floor time is a huge thing. Just because they get to run around and exercise and binky, and they get to stretch, and it's all everything you need to do when you bring home a rabbit. Just remember to make sure you leave it alone for the first 24 hours just so it gets used to its new surroundings. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Keep your buns happy and healthy. Bye!